working?
Matt, it looks good. We're actually live right now because Nick did
Look at that.
he did a countdown clock. So we may have a little bit of this will be like a
I
bad.
saw that.
This will be like a Japanese what do you call that, the Godzilla fights King Kong, where the mouths will maybe move a little slower than normal.
That's cool. We're good. We'll just say the pertinent stuff and get it over quickly.
Yeah, no worries. But so look at welcome to this is Materials Exchange MX channel with Lunch with Lumbermen and Matt Layman from Layman's Lumber Guide. I'm kind of excited today about today's show, Matt. Where are you broadcasting out of today?
Actually, I'm in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, which I'm making a field trip to see my dad. My dad in the hospital and just got out and get some little surgery done. It's good news, so I'm going to go over and see him in just a minute. So I was talking with Mike a little this morning. He said he was doing some work at home and working on his phone for a couple of hours, and we were talking about technology and how it is. And so here I was sitting in my car. He said, "Well, I'm going to turn on my phone's hotspot so I could get on the computer." And all of a sudden, I'm in the parking lot of McDonald's with no service anywhere. And so this is pretty cool. We're able to do the phone thing, make it look like we're doing something out of the studio.
Well, after you get your 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on the sesame seed bun, we can talk about lumber then, right? So it's like, so you're talking about the hot.
Well,
I love it. All right. Well, look at, so you said hot.
I already had the spicy chicken sandwich.
So everybody, please bring up any questions. This is a show that we talk about what's going on in the lumber industry, particularly some of the markets that Matt focuses on. If you don't know Matt has Layman's Lumber Guide, where he basically has a publication where is that the right thing to call it now? Publication, Matt? Is that the right tech term? Or it basically is a guide.
Yeah.
It's a guide that basically helps anybody that's a buyer or seller wrap their melon around what's going on and the different trends in lumber. It's more than you would see normally. Matt does a really good job on it. If you have any questions, please bring up where you're from. Is Nick from Sheboygan in here today? Let's see if Nick from Sheboygan's in here today. We got so look at when you said hotspot, it made me think of.
It's like where's Nick?
Well, you got to go to Sheboygan and have a brat. That's what I used to always tell people in college when I go to bars that I was from Sheboygan. They had no idea what I was talking about. So please say where you're from. So Nikki's here. Hey, remember meeting Nikki at the BCMC? We met Nikki there. She was with
Flameproof.
Flameproof, yeah. It's Flameproof. Nikki, good to see you, man. Good to see you. My friend Jory's on. Bob's on. So look at, we were talking about the hot wash, and I think this is a big deal. I heard Mike talking to you about it a little bit. Tell us a little bit about your Layman's Lumber Guide 2021 hot wash that you're going to have, and let's make sure the world knows about this, because I think it's great, and I think that the charity you're doing is great also, Matt.
Well, this is going to be a shameless plug, and I'm glad you brought it up. But probably about this is really kind of a last minute thing. A couple of months ago, I was just thinking about what kind of year this has been, and it's been disturbing and unfortunate and unforeseen and all kinds of negative words about it. But I thought how great it would be. You and I talked about the transparency and how we've connected people that are unlikely to be connected with mills and builders with new dealers and all this kind of connection thing that happens through the exchange. And I thought about, well, what if we got a bunch of guys together from every sector of the industry, from the producer all the way down to the builder or turnkey framer, just go from the top to the very bottom and everybody in between, and have everyone give their just a short 10-minute dissertation about what went right with 2021, what went wrong, what happened that you didn't expect, but more importantly, what's that going to do to change how you're going to approach 2022? So we've got producers, we've got truss manufacturer, wood preserver, contractor yards, builders, turnkey framers. I think there's 8 or 9 speakers, and we're going to have the perspective from everybody from top to bottom about 21 was like, and the information is going to be very, very crucial. That people aren't going to talk about what happened specifically at their business, but what happened in their sector of the industry, and what they're going to be representative the whole sector. So they got big shoes to fill. But we're also going to do, it's going to be a charity fundraiser. And I'd like to, it's the first annual hot wash. A hot wash in military terms is the reevaluation of a mission you just did. And you come back and you talk about, well, here's what our plans were. Here's what we did. Here's how it turned out. What can we do better next time around? And I got the thought from my son, who's the next fighter pilot from Afghanistan. He flew an A-10 in Afghanistan about 5 years, 10 years, probably 10 years ago now, but he's going to be a co-moderator with me. And the format's going to be like the hot wash, the same way you would do a hot wash on a mission you just completed, and have Luke's going to help me moderate that, and he'll lead them to the questions he wants them to answer. But that's going to be the format to kind of, just kind of what went wrong, what we do right, what we do wrong, what are we going to do next time out. And they're going to be just 10-minute segments, so it's going to take about an hour and a half or so. And MaterialsXchange is going to be one of the sponsors with Layman's Lumber Guide, so you guys will have a presence there as well. So and everybody that's coming has to come by invitation only. So if you'd like to come, you just need to send me an email so I can send you an invitation. Right now, I think we have about 50 or 60 people signed up. And the charity that we're going to be funding is called Marine Raiders Foundation. They're kind of like the Navy SEALs of the Marines, and it supports families all the way back from World War II up to the present. And it's called MARSOC, MARSOC. But there's on the page, the front page you've got there's a link to check out MARSOC or the Marine Raider Foundation. It's one of those. It's a great organization. It's got like a 100 of 100 rating of being transparent with their money, what they're doing with it, and giving it away, and not being crooked. So I'm excited about it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a good learning experience, also for a great cause. So far we've got about $5,000 in attendance. The attendance fee is $199 per person, but it's 100% going to charity. So I'd invite you guys to come and participate in the charity, and also hear one of a kind lumber event that's never happened before.
Yeah, so Matt, look, I've attended some of your events you've been gracious enough to invite me to, and I can't tell you enough. I remember I get off them sometimes, and I look around at the guys and gals, and I say, you won't believe what this person said on the Matt's call. I never thought about that, and it changes my whole attitude of what I do in my own personal business I'm in a lot of times. I don't think people realize that the sphere of influence that you have, and in the group that you have of difference makers that you talk to. And we're happy to be on it. I'm going to throw your email up there in the chat, so people have that they can call and register. I saw you said on your report today that you had raised a bunch of money, and I think that's just freaking awesome. We can learn about lumber, talk a lot, because we all like talking in this industry and home building, and donate to a great cause.
Okay, when it's coming up soon. It's going to be this coming Tuesday, November the 2nd, from 1 to 3 p.m. So
okay,
it's going to be kind of a jam-packed time with just rapid fire. People just tell them their little 10-minute quips and quotes about what's happened. It may even go faster than we think, but I just want to just kind of pre-warn people that, like, one of the attendees says it was actually Trustway is going to be of our representative for the truss manufacturing industry. And I said, you don't have to give any top secrets away or inside secrets. He said, so nobody wants to find out how we've been holding on by the skin of our teeth. So it's going to be fun. That's
awesome. I love the Trustway people. There's Matt at Layman's Lumber Guide up there. It's coming up quick, so everybody get in while you can. And this is going to be on. You're going to do this via Zoom, correct? Is that right, or via Zoom?
Yep,
yeah.
Zoom.
That's awesome. So get signed up with Matt's thing. Let's jump right into it about the market this week. We had a good chat yesterday with the boys. Matt, I don't know if you listened in. Kind of, we talk about the same thing all the time. Everybody talks about logistics, and the basis finally came in. Logistics is what it is. I think it's probably starting to at least peak as far as how bad it is in some places, but people are starting to get through the backlog a little bit. Business, the one thing I'm hearing, which is great, but also concerns me. People are already looking out to 2023 as being a great year. And sometimes I hate putting the goggles on and looking that far out. But we talked a lot about
that's like it's blinders.
Yeah. So let's jump right into Layman's World and what you have going on. Let's go right into our first 2x4 chart that you've got. I don't know if you can see it, Matt, but it's continuing the upturn here into week 40, going up into week 44 and 45. I will tell you my feeling that I'm seeing out there is I see a lot more things showing up and a lot more things being listed and cars unloading that were probably bought 3 or 4 weeks ago, and a lot more inventory coming into the pipeline. I see a lot more people logging on, signing on our platform on the sell side, which I didn't see for 2 or 3 weeks. Am I missing something here? Is there a little bit of are we starting to see some of this inventory starting to hit a little bit?
Now this market is way overbought. There's nothing showing up on your screen. It's just black. There's no graph.
Yeah, so I've got your you probably can't see it. I have your 2x12 month 2x4 number 2 composite chart up.
Okay. Well, you can see October was initially a down month, but as I reevaluated some statistics I wasn't aware of, that's actually September, and there it is, I see it now. September and October are 50-50 splits between either up or down. So really it's a sideways kind of, iffy market. My recommendation was the end of August to buy to cover your needs through October. Be prepared to buy the 1st of November for another run to the upside. But you can see that prices have continued to rise through October. And that just tells me one thing, that people are continuing to buy and build inventory because the builders are not doing any more in October than they were in May, June, July, and August. They're doing all they could possibly do. But people are buying, they're buying to cover their needs for way out in the distance. I mean, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. So I think the surprise for this market is going to be come next spring, early, maybe even February, March. That people are going to be expecting that the contractor yards are going to be expecting builders to come to them with plans and projects to do, and they're going to say, well, we already bought for that. Especially the multifamily people. I know a lot of multifamily people that have got just a bunch of wood tucked away. They're starting to pull it out now and get it on job sites. These are things that they're going to be working on in the first of the year. So I think we got a potential November that's going to, even the next just 2 or 3 weeks could get softer. And I think the bottom's in from August. I'm not sure we're going to go lower than that, but I still think we can get a pullback for a little bit. And the only thing that concerns me, like you're saying, is there's a lot of people that want this thing to pull back so they can buy. So there's still a lot of folks that need to buy. And I'm hearing it mainly in the truss industry. They're just booked so far out, can't find MSR, and 2x4s are tough to get. But on the other hand, there's a lot of 2x4 Euros stuck with the port. A lot of wood is shipped to the port that's due to be shipped out. It's not getting shipped out because of the containers and the shipping situation, which is still a nightmare. But I just think we're coming up on a time where we're just going to get clogged, and the builders are going to have to start backing off some of this frantic framing, is the way I'd phrase it, overnight.
Yeah, no, let's bring up the OSB Orion strand board real quick, Matt, because one thing I don't see a lot of movement on the OSB side right now. I mean, it did make a little move off the bottom, but it still seems pretty fluid. There's stuff showing up being listed. The market is trying to turn up, but I see plywood, Brazilian plywood, OSB still showing up from secondaries, mills, and everywhere. Probably it's starting to work its way through the pipeline. That just didn't seem to get the same bite as lumber did, but maybe that'll change a little bit. Any feedback there?
Well, and if you think about the price, I've been kind of focused on the price of OSB at $450, $400, and thinking that it's not fairly valued. But in comparison to lumber, it is fairly valued. The entire market at $600-700 2x4s, $400 OSB, nobody's complaining about the price of lumber. The builder section is not complaining about the price of lumber. If anything, you could probably, if you're ballsy enough to do this, you could probably get a builder to give you a 90-day lumber lock if you felt confident about doing that. But people are steering. I mean, contractor yards are steering away from it. Mills don't want to give long-term pricing, but I think the builders would probably lock in $800 lumber if they could get it. And I'm not sure that's not necessarily a bad idea, but if you look at the trend, normally from week number 45 to week number 10, the market tends to go, well, it does 90% of the time it's gone higher.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you just don't want to fight that. The prices are places where you think you'd like to have them lower. Is just still you're fighting the uptrend that's coming up.
And the thicker panels, due to a whole bunch of different situations, still remain pretty darn high. I mean, three quarters is more, $900 to $1,100 still pretty much everywhere from what I'm seeing. Let's bring real quick up the framing package index and take a look at that. Everybody loves looking at that. I get calls about that. What did you add something new on here, or is it looks the same here? What can we glean out of this one, Matt? The framing package index this week.
Maybe I just got it updating. I think I got it updating, got it all right.
Okay.
I guess the biggest thing to realize is where we are. The price per square foot to frame a house is what, like $14 down. Look at the bottom of my screen's kind of small.
Yeah, 1450, Matt.
1450. Yeah, if you look back all through last year, we've been almost double that price.
Yeah,
we're more than that. At one point, we were $31. So the price to frame a house is right now lower than it's been any time over the past year, except for September. September, I think, was $12 or $13. So we're just now creeping up off the bottom, and it's still half the price it was at the peak, which was, if you look at the numbers across the bottom, we've got 19, 16, 19, 24, 26, 26, 31, 36, 25, 16, 12, 12,
14,
13,
50.
14. Now we're almost, we're half where we spent half the year, half where that price was. And if you remember, during that time, there was no price rejection for lumber. It was just, can you get me more of it? So certainly the price of lumber is not going to be a deterrent right now for home builders. And it's just a matter of the dealers being willing to stock the lumber and put it in. And I keep telling everybody, I say, so you weren't afraid of $1,200 or $1,500. You shouldn't be afraid of $600.
No, that's a great point. That's a great point. And the other thing is, even though lumber's adjusted, I keep hearing how there's other items, everything's taking its turn in the box, right? Drywall, all that kind of stuff. And again, things that you and I think this is going to be a continued thing of all different items continuing to, lumber goes down, something else goes up. And the interesting thing, and I think you mentioned it from the housing thing you were at in Austin, and what I heard at the from the economist that was on Brian Westbury, a lot of these home builders are now waiting to sell their houses until they're completely done and ready to sell. They don't need to pre-sell them because they know somebody's going to come in and buy them, and they need to know what all their input costs are before they actually put that thing on the market, if that makes sense. Can you hear me okay, Matt? You may have hit your mute because you're fading out a little bit on me here. So what we're going to do here is I want to keep bringing up. We put Matt at LAYMAN'S guide up. Wanted to talk a little bit about or finish up by saying again, Matt is doing his hot wash, which is going to be next week, I believe, and you have to go and sign up on his email. He said there's a price to get into it. It goes to the Marine Raiders Foundation, all the proceeds on that one. So send Matt some at matt@laymanslumberguide.com. We'll bring Matt on again next Thursday, and talk more about this lunch with Lumbermen. Tomorrow, 12 o'clock, we have our Smart Market call. Please be on that. That's hosted by Mike Wisniewski, our CEO. He's going to have a great guest on. You should look forward to that. And again, we'll start the whole process over again Monday with Charles De La Torre. And then we'll start Tuesday with, Tuesday we'll go with Futures with Greg Kuda. Wednesday, we're going to go with This Week in Lumber. Thursday, Matt Layman. Friday, Smart Market. So we are adding every week to our broadcasting to bring transparency to the industry. I wanted to also thank Matt about getting us connecting us with somebody where we got 10 trucks today ran through the platform from one of Matt's users that loves our MX Materials Exchange. So love to see that, Matt. Keep bringing them on. If you want to come on Materials Exchange, it's mxlumber.com. You should be one of the people buying these 10 trucks every day that this person bought that never would have connected with the person that sold them unless they were on a digital platform bringing transparency. Hey, we know it's still a call-around market in some places, but why not have the power of being able to do it both ways? Look at the screen, talk on the phone, hook things up together. Again, Ashley Boeckholt from Materials Exchange. We'll look forward to talking to you next week, and have a great day.